Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be doing a shorter video, ideally. So I was going to do the build stuff, but sidetracked because other stuff that came up and I want to share my opinion on it. So basically, we're going to be talking about DBD going free to play, or the idea, the concept of it. And I kind of just want to share my two-piece on it and the pros and cons and what I personally think. But to cut to the chase first, before we get into the subject that we've got here, I don't want the game to go free to play, and I want to explain why. But let me make it clear, my mind and opinion won't be set on that forever, but we're gonna explain and go through that. Firstly, how did we get to the idea quickly of the game potentially going free to play? Basically, there's two things from what I know. One was something to do with the changes with Steam information related stuff. I don't fully know it myself, but it's something about game file changes or something along them lines, which basically hint at changes and stuff. It happens for games all the time, but I don't know the specifics, so I'm not going to go too much into that one, purely because I don't want to give misinformation, And then secondly, there was two skins which accidentally got added to DBD early, which was these new legacy skins for Dwight and for Chopper. And people basically saw these and were like, oh, are other people gonna get skins? And the devs confirmed, they were like, no, this is only for these two and it's for anniversary. So now people are thinking, oh, what could it tie to? Could it be for potentially DBD going free to play and it being kind of like Legacy, where you had to basically do something before a certain time frame to get these skins? So that's why people think, because it's Legacy skins, that the game could be going free to play for DBD's 10th anniversary. Now, purely quickly talking about these skins, I honestly do think there is a chance, because it's DBD's 10th anniversary, that these could just be the reward skins, the event skins, they always do. We've had a year where we got the Wraith skin, one where we got the Nia skin, the Billy skin, etc. Honestly, I don't think it's too far-fetched that they could have them as it, because I think it would almost, in a weird sense, be appropriate. Here's free Legacy, it's only for these two. Causes no one any harm, because people which have the OG Legacy stuff, they've still got it, But right, let's get into the DBD going free to play. I'm going to go over pros and cons, and then quickly just give a conclusion of basically how my opinion will change. So, start with the pros. The thing you've probably saw people saying, all that influx of free players. Purely, you won't have to, let's say you so much praise the game, you won't have to be there convincing someone to buy the game, or just to run into other newer people which are enjoying the game, because the game is it is fun once you've got past that initial learning curve. That's, I think, where the game is the most fun, because you're still learning stuff, trying new stuff, discovering new stuff, and obviously having that for a game which you love so much and all that is great, especially as a content creator. It would also be amazing, you've got more and more new people coming in, looking at DBD, getting exposed to the world of DBD, and it's just as a really, really big positive, amazing. And I'm sure with the odd few weekends they've done in the past, that has happened maybe on smaller scales. So the game just being permanently free would be, really good, makes it more popular. Again, there is just no downside, especially when your game has already been out for 10 years and you've already got almost a proven track record, and you haven't done anything too almost say malicious monetization wise. It would just be no downsides. However, the biggest con is then with the free weekends again, is the cheater epidemic we had, because basically when the free weekends happened and it already did damage for ages, cheaters took it to them to be ooh, we're gonna get free counts, and then they made it free on Epic, I think, for a week or something, to claim forever, and they did the same thing. And basically most times when stuff like that came up, it will cause problems. And I remember there being one time when it was really problematic. There was the whole hostage situation as well, where people would have to stream other games, and it was just it was a nightmare, and I personally don't want to go through that again. However, this is where almost my opinion will slightly change on it. Because one, there's like two ways looking at this. At the end of the day, I'm gonna foolishly believe, I will say, that the pros will outweigh the cons, because I do think even if the cheater epidemic does come up, that can slowly be tackled, and I do think the influx of new players and just more people playing the game will be good. However, a best case scenario, which I don't think will happen though, is the idea and the discussion of free to play has already came up. So if they didn't do it like in this moment, and they did it like a year later, where they proved like, hey, that anti-cheat is like, you know, Bella, it's been like refined, we'll just say, and all that, then I think that would be the best case scenario. But with the DBD anniversary right around the corner in like a month's time, and they probably want to announce it for then as some like big thing, if it is going to happen, I can't see them doing that, because it would almost feel a bit like, I guess, anticlimactic, even though it would be a good option for like the health of the game. But then again, you could argue that the influx of players is also good for the health of the game. However, speaking of new players, DBD did confirm a couple of days ago in like a letter, we'll just say, that the past year they've just had, despite, you know, the stuff like, you know, let's say the Walking Dead Bucky chapter and Koniki, let's say, coming out and being, you know, like a mixed opinion on like Killer. It's been their best year yet, so don't get me wrong, obviously more players, that numbers going up in general for a game is always good, but you don't really need it if we really want to like nitpick at it at the same time. Like, I don't know how like the next year is gonna go. For all I know, it might be a bad year, and maybe the new players just help like soften some blows, but we'll just have to like see. Like, at the end of the day, I'm very almost like mixed on this idea, purely because, not to gatekeep DBD, I'd never want to come across like I'm gatekeeping the game, but the game isn't that pricey. A lot of the times you can get it kind of cheap for maybe like a tenner nowadays, I want to say. Maybe at the utmost somehow it's like £20, but you know, you can always like get word of mouth on the game, look into stuff before you buy a game, and like it's more of a like, I mean, I guess people would argue that there's buying the game, but then like you don't have much in the game, so then you feel like you gotta buy the chapters and all that. So I don't know, maybe there is like back and forth, and I'm not like thinking on like the whole picture, but I guess we will just have to wait and see what like happens, because basically I'm just worried, as someone which like plays this game so much, makes content on this game, streams this game, I'm worried just for like the game health, but at the same time I want to see the game do well, I want to see the game thrive. I'm excited for the 10th anniversary, and if the game goes free to play, of course I will still happily play it. I do wish the game the best and all that, and heck, maybe I'll have to do more like guide stuff or something then, and you know, help out the newer players, thinking of the newer players. But that'll be it for me, guys. I basically just want to express my like concern. You've probably heard this stuff though more and more before. I know I've saw a couple of videos on it, but I just want to give my like quick opinion before this potentially gets revealed. But hey, do you want the game to go free to play? Do you think it should stay like with its paywall almost, just for like some safety for the game? Let me know down below, and I will catch up with you guys in the next one. So take care and bye bye.